Hey everybody, Chris from Walking Man Walks. I decided to record at the river today. It's real noisy in town, so I'm down at the river. It's quite windy. I don't know how this is going to work out. We'll see. There's a shot of the river. Anyway, what I wanted to do today was continue my series on how I got here, how I ended up in the Philippines, why I'm moving to the Philippines. So the last video I made, I was talking about my job as an 18-year-old as a truck driver and how I made good money, but I worked 15 or 16 hours a day. My girlfriend hated it. It was a good job, fun sometimes, grueling other times. But anyway, after that job, I decided that I needed to go to college. I mean, this was the late 80s, and what everybody said back then is if you don't have a college degree, you're not going anywhere. So I decided that even though I was a terrible high school student, wasn't that I was stupid, I just didn't do anything in high school. I liked high school. I was, I had a lot of friends, girls, fun, sports, all that stuff, but the academic part I wasn't too keen on. So what I had to do was go to a junior college, Nassau Community College, and back then, because my family was definitely in the low income range, I was able to get Pell Grants and other grants, state grants from New York to go to. I pretty much went to Nassau Community College for free. So I went there for 2 years, got an associate's in marketing. That's actually when I was there, getting my associate in marketing was when I met my first expat, a young guy, a little older than me at the time, like 25. But he had lived in Norway for a while. He had a Norwegian girlfriend, and he befriended me in class, and he told me all about how great his Norwegian girlfriend was and how great travel was. And that was when I first got the idea in the back of my head, maybe I should travel. But it wasn't in the cards then. I was in school, so I spent the next two and a half years, I think, getting my associate's degree in marketing. Hard work. I was working full time. I got another job where I was working at a shoe store. Again, I became the assistant manager and eventually a store manager at that shoe store. And that was an okay job, shoe sales. But obviously it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Let me turn around here. The sun is not that good. Okay, that's better. So I started working at that shoe store. I worked there for 2 years while I got my associate's degree. And once I got my associate's degree, I remember dreaming about it, that as soon as I got my associate's degree, I really wanted to go away to college. I wanted to get out of my house. My older brother had moved back in when I was 15 or 16. I was sharing a bedroom with him, which wasn't ideal for somebody my age. I had a girlfriend and stuff. My brother was, a drug addict. That's why he's not with us anymore. He passed away at 50 in 2009 from liver failure. And they said a heart attack, but he was in the hospital waiting for a liver transplant. So it was basically liver failure. I remember visiting him in the hospital back then, and just feeling terrible. Going to the hospital, and his skin was all yellow. What I do have to say about my brother, he was always in high spirits. He was one of the tricycles delivering something. They always carried, it looks like giant bamboo rods. That's what they used to knock the papayas off the tree here. 30-foot bamboos. But anyway, so my brother, he was he was always in good spirits. He smoked Marlboro Reds. He did a lot of drugs. He drank a bit. His diet was terrible. He lived on cake and cookies and donuts. So at 50, unfortunately, he passed away. But anyway, going back to college, I was sharing the bedroom with my brother. He was a drug addict. He was, way too into cocaine. I mean, he had all kinds of crazy episodes. One of his girlfriends, came over in the middle of the night one night with an AK-47 and was banging on the window that she needed to get in. She wanted more drugs. I guess they were doing drugs earlier in that night together. But that's the kind of stuff I had to deal with sharing a bedroom with my brother. So anyway, I really wanted to go away to college. So what I did was I found a school in Colorado, because at the time my girlfriend's parents had taken me skiing, and skiing was like what replaced high school sports for me, like football and lacrosse and soccer. And I wanted to go somewhere where I could ski, so I picked Western State in Colorado, which is out in Gunnison, Colorado, 30 miles south from Crested Butte. And that's what I decided to do for the next year or so while I was still getting my associate's degree. I worked, saved money, I bought a car. I bought this old $900 1981 Volkswagen Jetta. I was going to drive that out to Colorado, and that's exactly what I did. I got into Western State. I got my grades up from Nassau Community College. I got into Western State. I was accepted. It wasn't a hard school to get into, a state school. And that next year, I think 1992 it was by then, 1991, something like that, I jumped in my Jetta. And never being in Colorado before, I packed my stuff in the trunk, said goodbye to my mom. And my mom, she was a trooper. She was like, do whatever makes you happy. She always said that to me. She was gonna miss me and stuff, but she said, do whatever makes you happy. I jumped in the Jetta, never been in Colorado before, and I drove from New York to Colorado and showed up in Gunnison, Colorado. Had altitude sickness for a few days, so I'd never been at 8,000 feet. That's the altitude of Gunnison. And then moved into the Tamichi dorms. Even though I was a junior, the policy back then was if you were a new student, you had to live in the dorms. So I don't know, at the time I was 22, I think, something like that, 23. It just took me so long working and stuff to finish my associates. Now I think about it, maybe it took me 3 years to get my associate's degree and 1 year of working after college. So yeah, I was a little older than all the other kids. And ever since then, I've always been like the oldest guy in my group of friends. I don't know why. Then it seemed like a lot, 22. Everybody else was 18, but I mean, now it doesn't seem like a lot. So I befriended the RAs in college, the resident assistants, the guys who were older students, because we were closer in age. And actually, because I was a junior, I was transferring as a junior, I got a suite at the end of the hall, which was a nicer room. And my roommate was also a junior. This guy Simon, this hippie from San Francisco, turned me on to Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that, which I had known a little about, but I hadn't been that exposed to. He was a good guy, long hair, but we got along great. But they put a freshman in the room with us because they were short beds, and that kid cried himself to not sleep every night because he missed home and everything. So I can't remember what happened to him, but he ended up moving out. Simon hated him. Me, I've always been more tolerant of people. But that first year in Gunnison, that introduced me to Colorado. I mean, we'd go to Crested Butte and go skiing. I'd hitchhike there. It was 30 miles. I'd hitchhike there and go skiing. And all this new environment of, outdoors, going to Mesa Lake and cliff jumping and camping in what is now Black Canyon National Park. But back then, it was just an area where we could go. Like, I remember, like, 30 of us from the dorms would go there and camp and hang out, you know, and do the kind of stuff college kids do, drinking and debauchery and all that stuff. But it was some of the best years of my life, and I'm not saying it was the best, because I've had great things go on since, and I have many more stories from there on, but I'm going to stop it there. That's how I ended up in Colorado. So on my next video, I'm going to talk about after Colorado. Not after Colorado, but what happened that first year in Colorado, what happened with school, how I ended up as a whitewater raft guide the next year. But if you guys have any comments, go ahead and comment below, and like and subscribe if you can. I'd love to grow my channel more. I'm not really looking to make a living off this channel or anything, but I'm starting to really enjoy making these videos. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and I would love it if more people heard what I have to say, my perspective of life. It's been a wild ride, so yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe, and comment below if you had any similar experiences, maybe your jobs when you were younger. I know a lot of people had a way different experience than me, just because of where I grew up and how I grew up. But I'm interested in everybody's. I answer all the comments I get, or as many as I can. I don't get that many comments yet, but if you do comment, I'll be sure to respond. Okay, everybody have a great day, have a good new year, and I'll make another video here in a couple days.